Hey guys, today I wanted to talk to you about local modules in Terraform. So let's look at our folder structure here in VS Code, starting with our main that we're used to. And then you'll see I have a folder here in the same directory as main, just called modules. And then I have a few files in there. So let's look at this logging.tf. So this is creating a log analytics workspace called example. You can see the resource notation, just like you were writing this in your main.tf. And you can see we have 5 properties here, all with variables. And you can see in the same modules folder, I have those 5 variables defined with a couple of defaults. So this is how you create a module. It's very simple. It's just like you would in main, just a simple resource call, but how you actually call it is different. So jumping into the main.tf file now, you can see we have our required provider block, and we're creating a resource group. You can see we've used the module keyword instead of resource like we normally do, and then we just gave it a name. So this can be anything you want. Also worth noting, this TF can be whatever you want. This logging.tf can be whatever you want. And then the first weird thing is this source that's required anytime you use the module call. And this is just the path to where you want to call the module from. So that's that logging.tf that we talked about earlier. And after the source, these are just the required variables or properties to create the log analytics workspace that we looked at in logging.tf. So we have a name. They have some specific naming requirements, no hyphens or dots or anything like that. And then location, just like we always do, we're just pulling that from resource group.example for both the location and the resource group name. And then lastly, just showing you another variable for the log analytics workspace, the SKU here. So just per gigabyte 2018, I think that's the default. So this is the most basic form of a module, just locally with your main code that you're calling. But if you think about this, this can be really useful. Let's say you have a more complex logging solution. You have action groups and rules and all those kind of things. You can put that all in one file, and then anytime you deploy stuff, you just call your logging module. And let's say you build a Windows VM, call your logging module to set up all your logging. Same thing for the next VM. And hopefully you can see how useful that is, how powerful it is to just reuse it. You're not copy pasting this every time you deploy something. So again, this is a local module. You can see it's in the same directory as everything else. In the next video, I'll show you how to call it remotely. Obviously very similar. But you can store your modules in GitHub or GitLab and call them remotely so you don't have to copy these in every time. So let's go into an init. So with our init, you see one thing different than what we normally see. We see initializing modules, log workspace module. That's the name we gave it, log workspace module, in modules. So that just means that it's found it. Obviously, if you don't have this path right, it's not going to find it. But it did find it, it loaded it, it's ready to run. So we can go through a plan here. So you can see it wants to add 2 resources. Here's our resource group that we created directly in main, and then here's our module call where we create the log analytics workspace using the module. So let's apply this, and then I'll jump to the portal to show you what it looks like. And you can see the apply was complete. So let's jump to the portal and see what it looks like. So I'm here in my Azure subscription looking at my resource groups. I'm just going to refresh, example resources, and there's log workspace. So this is our module call completed, and it works just like you'd expect. So I hope this was helpful, how to create a local module. I'll be creating a new video very soon on how to create and use a remote module that's stored in GitHub. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.